Hey everybody, welcome to Talking Ship. I'm sitting here in the Wargaming North American office with a panel of my esteemed colleagues. These happen to be World of Warship experts. Now across our Talking Ship, Talking Tank video series this week, we're focusing on a common theme. And that common theme is common mistakes that we have made as players in our game. Common mistakes you make in ships. We're going to start with you, Q, on the end. Tell me a common mistake that you've made in your play experience, and then also, what did you do and how did you fix that?
All right, well, probably the biggest mistake I remember making when I first started out in ships was just not paying attention to what's going on around me, right? So oftentimes, just go full speed forward, start aiming at something else, keep firing at it, and then all of a sudden realize I'm in the middle of a map and I'm getting fired at by every other ship in this game. So that super sucks. Yeah. What you really got to do is what I learned to do is tap shift constantly. Shift will bring you in and out of being zoomed in. So you can go target a ship, zoom in, start firing at it. Once you fire it though, zoom out with shift again, look around for a split second. And that's what I just learned to get that habit of just hitting shift constantly. And then once in a while you start seeing, oh, this torpedo's coming. Oh, I'm about to hit an island. All that stuff starts coming in a little bit more earlier and you can actually react to it. So that's my big tip. Would definitely start looking around as early as possible. Get that situational awareness because that is invaluable for you to survive at a game.
I'm going to try that. I need help with torpedoes. They're constantly beeping at me, and it's constantly like, oh man, I'm torpedoes. Dead. Okay.
And I remember you didn't used to do the situational awareness thing because like you would play at your house and I would watch you from across the room, and for like 6 months you didn't even know I was there, and then you looked around and like, oh my God, he's stalking me.
All right, we're going to go to Captain Bad Joke now. Hey. So what do you got? What's a mistake that you've made in your time and how you resolved it?
I think the biggest mistake that I tend to make is really not doing the situational awareness thing before the game and kind of looking at what are my opponents, what is my tier in relationship to the rest of my opponents. I think that one of the things that's really key about this game is you have to apply learnings through every single game that you play. And using that screen, being mindful of that screen, and then kind of applying it, you know, in post of, oh, this is how one destroyer behaves versus another destroyer. It's really, really important to be mindful going into it.
Yeah, so we give you a lot of information. The game's about to start. You've got 30 seconds. You imagine that's the time to go get the Cheetos. But really what you're saying is do your math, do your research, take a look, see what's out there. If you're tier 5, that's going to change the way you're playing if you're going against tier 7s. Yeah,
if you're the big dog, man, you know, you can go define that battle, but if you're, you know, real small, you're that tier 5, man, you got to be a lot more careful.
All right, well then, so wait, let me ask about that real quick. So how do you know when you're the big dog and when it's time to go? Give an example of, and tell players definitively, you are this, go.
First, easily, of course, just like, are you the top tier, right? Like, are you the 9 in the 7 battle? If so, cool. If not, maybe worry about it. Also, like, different classes are going to have different impacts. So are you the biggest battleship and you're the tier 9 in a tier 7 battle? Then you are huge. You have so many hit points. You're going to just punch around the map.
It's go time.
It's go time.
Yeah.
That's where you want to go, push around the map and define that game. And you are the big dog there.
Shot caller. You're leading the charge.
Exactly, man. You're the tip of the spear at that point. So if definitely...
like that.
If you're a big battleship and you're top tier, that's the way to go. Maybe not so as a destroyer, right? Because you can't quite do as much, but it's still huge. So always check if you are the top tier or not, or where you sort of lie on that matchmaker scale.
Okay, good. I appreciate that. The tip. Now you, common mistake and how you resolved it.
A common mistake I used to make all the time.
Not anymore. Because you're so good now.
Because I've learned, because I got sunk enough to where you're going to learn the hard way.
Yes.
Is I would activate the AA defenses on my my destroyers constantly because I think, oh yeah, I'm just going to cruise through here. I'm just going to activate them, peck out a couple planes at this guy. That's not how that works.
It's more like, hi, I'm over here.
Yeah, destroyers have horrible AA defense. So the most common thing you should do with destroyers is to leave them off completely by default, and there's like a last line of defense against like a scout plane.
Just tell the dude with the Colt 45 on the deck there to stop firing.
Yeah, I'm sure the Colt 45 would actually be more effective in some cases than the AA guns like the Kamikaze R has. It's just one guy, just help. Please. No, just leave it off and just...
But how do you turn it off?
You hit the P key by default.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to go into
the key.
Oh man, here's the key. Thank you. And your goal is to make sure planes don't spot you, pop smoke if you happen to see a plane flying above, and just try to find the enemy aircraft carrier and then sink it so you don't have to worry about the planes.
Anytime you fire, you are being much more visible, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
big explosions coming out of the guns kind of makes sense. Same thing with your anti-aircraft guns. It's going to make you much more visible if you're firing them. Not as much as your main caliber, but still a big deal. So, said if you're a destroyer, as you were saying, Stan, man, like half the time, I just turn them off from the start of a battle and say, screw it.
Don't even put them on. No.
Now, one thing we were talking before this, and I think this is something, Q, maybe I'd like you to share. So I have a problem where I'm constantly trying to figure out my ship's capabilities. I stink at math, so I can't add it all up before or in battle. And you had a tip for me that maybe we should share here.
Yeah. So I think one of the cool features we added in a few patches ago was the ability to mouse over that ship, the little green icon. You hold control to bring up your cursor, mouse over that icon with the hit points below it, and that will tell you all the details on your ship. Like
sweet.
all that extra spotting distance if you're firing. You don't have to do any of that math at that point. It just lists it all out for you.
Right.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of data we throw at you, and to remember all of that for every ship is kind of daunting. So it's kind of nice to have like just a cheat sheet occasionally, just to be like, oh, what's my spotting range again?
I love cheat sheets.
You do need to know Pythagorean theorem, though.
See, that's
so
where
that's the one.
A squared plus
Then I'm dust.
C squared. That's pretty straightforward.
All right, well, I appreciate that tip. We're going to look at that right after this. If you've got a common mistake that you've made and a way that you've resolved it, please share that in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Definitely appreciate your support. Thanks again. This has been Talking Ship.
P is the key.